Don't you hate when this happens? New hot anime of the season with great characters and amazing visuals by Ufotable. Nobuo Uematsu is doing the score, and it's said to be the anime of the year. And then they tell you at the end, also we're gonna split this season into 6 different parts, 3 episodes each, 6 months apart of each other.
Thank you, don't come back, thank you.
Lately in the anime industry there has been this new trend to split seasons into various different parts called course, and they usually are like a couple months apart. Most of the time it's like 6, or in the case of this fucking shit, 2 years. We're gonna get to you later. Heck, even a recent example in movies of something of a similar vein will be Across the Spider-Verse, having basically done a massive split with a very heavy cliffhanger that honestly is the most anime seasonal split thing I've ever seen outside of anime itself. But luckily, we only need to wait for March of the following. Dude, being a fan of anything, like, sucks at times. In any case, to be fair, it is not as if I do not understand why they do this. I mean, making anything out of their immediate production costs a lot of time, money, and effort, and oftentimes having a whole 24 episode season with no breaks can bring diminishing returns if ratings and viewerships are not what is expected. Also, having a continuous 24-hour airing run for any anime can be very taxing on the production, especially the animation team. So, by the point in which the anime starts airing, it is very difficult, if not nigh impossible, for it to just go back and rework on stuff, or like just tweak things to make the experience just better as it goes. Because in the end, that latter part of the season is probably not even finished, which is most of the cases, but even then, production has advanced enough that it's difficult for it to go back and just work on things. Having a break in the middle of a season can help with these two things, of course, as well as for a series with an ongoing manga to help with getting a bit more time to help continue the story and mitigate the potential need for fillers later on. And of course, like with everything in life, you have a right way to do something and then a Shingeki way of doing something. And it has and since it's become kind of the main trend with anime productions as of late, and I've seen it enough for me to not be able to get away from my head, I want to talk about it. Whenever you make any story, utilizing a cliffhanger is potentially one of the most effective ways to build engagement for your audience, leaving the audience in suspense with an unresolved conflict or scene, thus making the viewer more impatient for what to follow. It's a remarkable narrative technique for sure, but there has been an over-reliance on it in media as of late. A topic for another day for sure, as now seasons have to end with a cliffhanger and its end, and every episode needs to have some sort of unresolved issue, which is not a bad thing in and of itself. After all, leaving everything neatly tied and resolved in the end can make it so that any new conflict that follows feels out of left field if not set up or started properly. So having something that the audience can come back to can ensure a long life for your work. The problem in and of itself is how long said cliffhanger lasts, and in some other cases, if said payoff is even worth it. Any cliffhanger is only truly effective if its payoff is as satisfying as the cliffhanger itself, or at least the result of the cliffhanger changes something in the core of the story itself, making it more interesting in return. So then, I ask you a question. What makes a bad cliffhanger? Why does it keep happening with a lot of stories and animes out there that they're just unsatisfying or make us lose interest in general? Well, also I know I said it at the beginning of the video, but I'm imagining there's people that are just listening to this video without just paying attention to what you're saying on screen, which is fine. There are going to be spoilers for a lot of the works I'm going to be talking about, particularly Spy Family, Bleach, Shingeki no Kyojin, like all of it. So, as usual with this type of topics, viewer discretion is advised. The first part of the first season of Spy Family came out in April 9th, 2022, and it ended the first cour by setting the appearance of Bond, the clairvoyant dog of the Forger family, which continued its second cour of episodes 4 months later after on October 1st, 2022. In this case, the split worked very well thanks to the semi-slice of life format Spy Family has, and also because we're given so many hype-up moments that by the end of the first cour, it felt like an okay stopping point. But the promise of what was to come next was sweet enough that we knew it would add upon the status quo of the series, so it catches enough of your attention that you want to come back and you only need to wait a couple of months. And you know, you have like games, series, other animes to catch up most likely, so like, you don't mind it that much. Life is busy after all, and Tears of the Kingdom will probably take you 300 hours if you're obsessively combing every inch of it by food because you have become a very compulsive completionist, and trying to send colics to the moon is the funniest thing we've ever made as a human race, and... Getting off track, sorry. What followed after with Spy Family was 1. Jesus Christ, one of the catchiest anime intros of the season! And 2. A very good set of episodes in the second cour that ended on a rather high note for the season. This was a good way for Spy Family to give the amazing quality of animation it is known for, as well as to give the slower bi-weekly manga release schedule more time to continue. Yes, they might be coming up with a movie that is non-canon to the manga, but it is being overseen by the mangaka, so I'm looking forward to it. What the show did well mainly was making sure its cours weren't too long between each other, as well as having a good grasp of when to pause the story and what to dangle in our faces to make us more excited for what's to come next. Now, moving on to Bleach, however, especially with how messy and out of hand the filler situation got with the original anime, I praise the Blood Warfare arc by starting with a simple and short 13-episode cour for 2 main reasons: the god tier animation and how the first cour ended. Yes, it is a 6-month gaps between cours, and its second cour, which released fairly recently to the date of this video, will also just be 13 episodes. In fact, it was already announced that all of this arc will be 4 cours in total, and that might mean we will have to wait 1 or 2 years potentially to see how the story ends after already having 10 years? God. The fact that this anime actually managed to come back alone will never cease to amaze me. I need to make a video about Bleach at one point. Maybe I'll make one of those over-obsessive and hyper-personalized 6-hour videos. Anyways, regardless of how the other 2 breaks end up being, just listen here. The Blade is Me, the last episode of the first cour of Bleach, is by far one of the most beautiful payoffs I've seen in anime in ages. This has a lot to do with Bleach's story and my personal relationship with it, so to keep this video focused, the episode in question and the cour it is a part of ended up changing a lot of our understanding of the series. It shifts the status quo, unlike any of the other times. You cannot easily say things will ever be the same after this. But that last scene with Ichigo holding Zangetsu in his hands, while the new rendition of number 1 plays in the background as the credits roll, with Ichigo's amazing narration, and then this happens!
So, 大ちゃん一やっていけそうかい？その残月たちと
三白刀が2本。
そう不利じゃなかったってことさ。俺は俺自身で戦う。ありがとう。あんたは俺だ。
Bruh, I'm good. I'll wait whatever you want. Just God, that title drop and the cliffhanger it's so fucking good. It just drops you from such a high point. It feels like the ending of a season in and of itself. You understand that this is a high point and one where things can end comfortably. Yes, there are still many unresolved conflicts, but Ichigo just got what potentially is the key to solving all of it or part of it, while also answering a huge lingering question that spawned across the whole series. It gives enough to us, so we're satisfied while we wait, while building upon the hype of what's to come. These 2 examples right here, this is how you do a proper cliffhanger and seasonal split correctly. You make sure you split your seasons correctly with enough resolution, yet still some parts that need to be explored, or simply make sure you stop at a high enough point in which we'll need a break, so it just naturally makes sense that we'll have a stopping point here. Or also, if even possible, just make sure that we don't have to wait that much time in between. I'd also say, depending on the format or genre of your anime or show in general, this might also affect or make it so that it's easier to split your seasons. But, you know, that's just a little extra on top of what I've said already. This is what you might call the principle and base of what a cliffhanger should achieve. So how does that relate to the topic at hand? Well, we've seen with my previous examples what splitting your seasons into cores can really do for series by following what a good cliffhanger should be. And of course, some of those examples can even be considered a mid-season break, something seen in Western television from time to time, and heck, anime like Aldenoa Zero or White Album did something very similar to this when they premiered all the way back into early 2010s. But at some point, some other shows, most commonly shown in anime, doing said split was seen more and more often, with some examples being Boku no Hero Academia, Re:Zero, Haikyuu, and of course, the subject at hand. God damn it. Look, okay, I do not hate Attack on Titans. I do not hate its anime adaptation, okay? It's just, come on, okay, let's face it. That anime was just not handled properly. First gap between season 1 and 2 was 4 years apart. That in and of itself was hard enough. But after, honestly, a pretty hype season 2, it only really took a year for us to get season 3, with a 2-core split, with a whole year in between both of them. But, to be fair, okay, I'm fair, the end of both cores kind of felt like the end of a season, to the point in which I didn't even realize that we're supposed to be the same season until way later down the line. And okay, season 3 is actually great. It follows the same principle as Bleach's Split, and the end of the season itself, man, just woo. But then we get to the final season, Attack on Titan, the final season. You, like, really, honestly, wholeheartedly, unequivocally, enthusiastically, unrestrainedly, and passionately hate the season. We have Attack on Titans, the final season. It is amazing to me just how much they dropped the ball on one of the biggest IP in the world of manga. Like, the last season of Shingeki should have been so much hype. It started in such a great way. Dude, you had to be there when it came out. As a non-manga reader, you were so looking forward to how everything will wrap up. And if you read the manga, you either were looking forward to see how just some things were going to be animated, or even see if they were gonna fix the very polarizing manga ending. There was a lot riding on the shoulders of this adaptation, and you get to see so much evolving and happening throughout the season. It keeps ramping up non-stop, and just as everything is about to explode with a bombastic cliffhanger, with Reiner and Eren about to start a long-awaited rematch, just as everything is about to unfold with a lot of characters one-upping each other, just for it to decide to end abruptly right in the middle of the escalation. Only for everyone to have to wait more than half a fucking year? I just fucking hate the way they did this split. Instead of making me look forward to what was about to come, it just paused where things were supposed to start. It's just this break, like at 1,000 miles per freaking hour, and then you just shot out of this windshield of disappointment, just hitting this pole of anger while all of your sad little beats just scatter around the pavement of impatientness while you're waiting for 7 months to see how the hell they're going to end this Clash of Nope, I really did write Clash of Titans, didn't I? Now, following that, next we have Attack on Tatas. Final season, part 2, Electric Boogaloo. The name actually makes too much sense after watching this part, to be honest. By the time the second core came out, it kind of felt not as hype as you think it would have been. But then so many things happen, it picks up so nicely and very quickly, and the final couple of revelations, the final conflict, many more payoffs, only for them to freaking cut and make us wait for the final core for a whole year. It didn't even feel like a proper core, and it's just to be good. Attack on Theta, final season, last part, part 1. Harry Potter did it first, and still, we're not done? What? How much are you gonna make me wait, Mappa? Do you get where I'm coming from? It is even more distracting when so many manga readers commented that there's so little story left from the source material that it didn't really make sense to do a whole other core just for the ending. Maybe a movie at best? Look, in the end, I firmly believe that Attack on Titan basically could not live up to the booming hype the first season brought. And as someone who used to watch entire seasons of this show in one sitting, this is one of the most satisfyingly bingeable series out there. Like, it changes your enjoyment of it so much when you can just see all of it unfold in one go. But just because it took so long for everything to pay off, with each passing season, interest dwindled more and more to the point in which the last core has been out since March, and I've honestly seen more hype and discussion with the new Kimetsu no Yaiba season than the last season of freaking Attack on Titans, especially because of how the final part 3, I fucking hate this anime too. It is kinda sad, because I am sure at the end, whenever we all unapologetically decide to rewatch this show, we will all have such a better time binging it, and probably be able to see the story for what it was trying to be in all of its glory. But it doesn't change the fact that the series was hurt by a horrible production and release schedule. JoJo's Stone Ocean also had a similar problem, but then again, there is way more to discuss about it besides the releasing schedule. Like, if you watch Stone Ocean, you know what I'm talking about. Look, at the end, improper seasonal split, aka bad cliffhangers and cuts, can honestly kill more of a series than we give it credit to. A show's hype and perception can be heavily affected by this, hurting viewership and potentially leading to cancellations. But this was not the case with Attack on Titans and JoJo because, well, they're freaking Attack on Titans and JoJo. But I can see how something like this happening to other anime or series can potentially lead to cancellation due to the lack of pull in comparison to other projects, leaving us out of something that could be great and fresh. Or, you know, just not having freaking atrocious release schedules, which is always a win. I am not against seasonal splits at all. We have seen examples in this video as to why it is important to have them depending on your project. But lately we've been seeing so many projects adapting this that it kinda kills a bit of my enthusiasm for certain series just because I don't feel like watching them until everything that should be out there is out there and available. Some series are better enjoyed with a binging format, while others definitely benefit from a weekly release. But it is an important, integral part of planning to know when and how to split your seasons, when to hit the bricks for your story in order to achieve the maximum amount of engagement for the viewers, because once that interest, that engagement is lost, it is incredibly hard to get back. Nowadays we have so much information and entertainment in our reach that, similar to the first 5 seconds of a video, it can mean a whole world of difference on whether or not a project is successful. We are sadly moving to a landscape in which our capacity to retain attention on something becomes exponentially harder, and I am including myself in this, making the type of content that is crafted for consumption more and more complex to make. It somewhat makes me yearn for those times in which we only had to wait weekly for a whole season to end, if not, and if we were lucky, a whole series. A much more simpler time, if you would. While now we have more and more series aiming to finish the story instead of just being an excuse to boost the manga sales. With how media consumption has evolved, it worries me personally how we're moving forward with productions and releases, and how we'll potentially paint the future for the media itself. There are just so many times where I can hear X will come out in curves of 1 year apart from each other, with atrocious cliffhangers that hurt the story more than it's helping the production. So please, I beg all of you production houses and animation studios out there, please, please, please split your seasons properly. Oh, and also feel free to tell me, like, you know, if you have any examples or times in which a season splitting was something that made you more hype, or it actually killed all of your enjoyment or potential interest in a show. I would really like to know, because I feel this is a topic we should be talking about a little bit more, and it's just been happening frequently enough lately that I just had to make a video out of it, man. But anyways, it seems in the meantime this is going to be our to be continued. I started streaming again. I recently finished streaming Signalis. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to be coming up with more videos. I actually have my next video idea lined up. I'm probably just going to be trying to produce and push this video to come out this month. So hopefully I can make 1 or 2 videos to be released by the end of this month / next month. But also let me know in the comment section if there's anything you want me to do or tackle specifically. I think I really like to talk about this type of formatting when it comes to storytelling or releases and productions and stuff like that. It's just a topic that really I'm passionate about. And of course, if you want to head up to my channel and just check out my lives, is there any game you want me to do, like tackle or play live or just do a let's play for, I'll be open for that. I recently downloaded Pathologic 2 because Ruby Seals is my life right now, and I probably just want to hate myself a little bit. But in the meantime, please make sure to hydrate. Our bodies are mostly water. Remember to stretch. Trust me, your joints are gonna thank you so much. I remember to keep being the beautiful, awesome, and amazing people you all are. And I will catch you all next time. Jana.